Crime fighting in Washington could soon rise to a new level if a local prosecutor has his way. We all know how important DNA can be for investigators, but right now there are limits in our state on how and when it can be used. Dana Rebick explains.
When it comes to solving crimes, DNA is often the key to a conviction.
It is the most powerful truth-telling tool that we have.
Just last month, King County Prosecutor Dan Satterberg sent serial rapist Moses Kelly to prison thanks to a DNA swab taken in California in 2010. At that time, Kelly was picked up for a carjacking. California and 27 other states require a DNA cheek swab for anyone arrested for a felony, not convicted, arrested. That information is then entered into a national database.
Fast forward 2 years, we have 2 predatory, violent rapes against vulnerable women in Western Washington, and the DNA from those crime scenes comes back, bingo, hit on Moses Kelly, and we were able to solve these cases.
Satterberg has fought to have a similar law adopted here, but collecting DNA samples has run into strong opposition from some lawmakers and groups like the ACLU.
So this is extremely private information, and for the government to take it and put it in a database without your even having been convicted of anything, we think is constitutionally problematic.
Opponents argue taking someone's DNA is invasive and a government overreach. They also contend it creates too much work for already overloaded police labs.
There's a possibility of overloading your forensics lab, which is exactly what happened in California, where rape kits were taking 6 months to be tested. So that is actually a very clear public safety detriment that we don't want to rush into.
Prosecutor Satterberg says any legislation he would support would include increased funding for the crime lab. And he's planning to back a new bill this coming legislative session now that the U.S. Supreme Court has determined that collecting a DNA sample at the time of arrest and before conviction does not violate the Constitution.
We should go forward, there's no question. Is there a legal risk? Of course there is, but it's worth it.
Dana Rebick, Q13 Fox News.
Dan Satterberg plans to meet with legislators in the coming weeks to work on a new bill. If it passes, he expects it will be challenged in the state Supreme Court, but he hopes they would rule the same way the state of Maryland did this summer.